Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to the show. We're still in our series talking about taking charge of your year. Okay. If you want to have a fun-filled year, if you want to have a fulfilled 2025, we have to pay attention to these things we're discussing. So we talked about a few things in the past. Please refer to previous two videos. Talk about being in charge of your own actions and being in charge of your own reactions. Now we'll talk about one more very powerful thing, and that is being in charge of your mind and your feelings and not let them control you. All right, let's dig in. All right, welcome back. So, we'll talk about being in charge of your mind. You see, why do we want to talk about that? Your mind and your feelings. Now, I want to talk about this. I'm talking about these two together because sometimes say, oh, I feel this way, I'm going to do this. I feel this way, I feel this way. Now, understand this. Your feelings are transient. Your feelings change per time. Feelings are not permanent. Feelings change per time. And what changes feelings is based on information. Simple information that you gathered or simple things you remember could change your feelings. And you see, sometimes we let these feelings take the better part of us simply because our reasoning is skewed and we tend to focus on certain things. But unfortunately, all it takes to make that go away or to change that feeling is to get another sort of information. Let me give you a typical example. Have you had two people quarrel and one of them comes to you and narrates their own side of the story, how wicked and how heartless this person is, how this person treated them, and all of a sudden you start to feel hatred about that person. You start to feel like you want to strangle the other person and all of those stuff. Your feelings start to get you bubble, and some people start to want to fight, and some people even go ahead and fight. But when you approach the other person and hear their own side of the story, all of a sudden this feeling changes. You want to strangle the first person. Now, imagine this. If we live our lives, as most of us do, based on our feelings, how miserable will life be? Very miserable, right? Now, this is why we have to be in charge of our minds and our feelings. This is why in 2025, if you want to have a fun-filled year, you have to be in charge of your feelings, not the other way around. If your feelings control you, remember this. You are in trouble. You are seriously in trouble. Now, I want you to understand this, and I'm not going to mix words here. I don't need to sound politically correct. So, if I offend you, understand that I'm not targeting anybody, but I want you to understand that I'm trying to make a point. Some people today, or a couple of years ago, or a couple of days ago, a couple of months ago, say, "Oh, I feel like I want to do boobs. I want to do my backside and all of those stuff." I feel that's their feeling, and they want to actually go through it because that's the feeling per time. But all of a sudden, the sickness that comes with it starts to set in. That feeling is gone. Now they want a way to reverse the whole thing, but unfortunately, it's difficult. Now, what necessitated that feeling? Because maybe somebody showed them a different thing, or somebody said, "Oh, look at this guy, he did it," and somebody said, "Oh, I want to do this," or "You see this, I want to look like this person." You see this social media person, I want to look like this person. Understand this. Your feelings change. Go to the prison yards. A lot of people are there because of their feelings. And guess what? When that thing happened, feelings changes within the 5 minutes. I listened to a guy who said 5 minutes took away 20 years of his life. 5 minutes. He got angry for about 3 minutes. Within 2 minutes, he stabbed somebody. And that's when he went to jail for 20 years for it. And guess what was in jail? That 5 minutes, after that 5 minutes, that feeling is gone. The remorse sets in. unfortunately, you cannot undo some of the things. So, husband and wife, before you take that action, before you say that word, before you say those things you want to say, please take a minute and pause. Think about it. Give yourself, if you have to take a walk or take a drive, please do. That feeling, let that feeling calm down. Before your friends say, oh, I cannot take this, I cannot take that, it should be out of my house, please take a pause. That feeling is just for that moment. Ladies, before you go ahead to say that and cast and all these things, please understand that this feeling is for a short time. Oh, I want to go into this business. This person said this to me. You are angry and I don't want to see this person again over my dead body. Understand that feeling changes per time. Your feelings are not eternal. So if you are going to have a fun-filled year, if you are going to have a fulfilled year, you have to be in charge of these feelings. Let me also let you know that your feelings sometimes could come because of what you're anticipating. Or you are anxious about something, you feel this way about this thing. That thing hasn't even happened. But you're already anxious, you feel this way, you feel so bitter, you feel so this one, you feel this person is going to do this, and this person is going to do that. Those things hasn't even happened. You say, oh, my feeling. And all of a sudden, those things doesn't happen. And guess what? You've ruined a lot of things. Or you feel, oh, I'm feeling this way because this is what this person did 10 years ago, what this person did 5 years ago. You're still feeling that way. But that person is no longer there. That person is no longer the same person. But your feelings. And sometimes the person who hurts you is not even the person in the picture right now, but your feelings. So I want to ask you a question. Are you going to live a life in 2025 controlled by just your feelings and your mind? And when I say the mind, is not just your whole body is your mind. We are blessed with two things: powerful sense of remembrance and powerful sense of imagination. Now, some certain things we've stored. Remember, every day things keep coming in, thoughts keep coming in into our head, into our mind, and all these things. And these thoughts brings along with them several emotions. Now, when these things keep coming, you have a choice. For those who want a fulfilled year, who want a happy year, you have a choice. You see, you cannot control the thoughts that come in, but you can control the ones you let to stay. And what is the challenge with the things? If you let certain thoughts come in, they come in with the feelings, you entertain that feeling starts to multiply. Those thoughts start to come with sister, brother, uncle, aunties, and grandfathers, and before you know it, a whole notion is formed. And this is why several times a lot of people do not stay in relationships. A lot of people do not stay in marriages. A lot of people do not stay in businesses. A lot of people easily quit several things. But unfortunately, let me just say this in the passing. If you have a habit of quitting, you are going to quit on nearly everything. Because one thing affects everything. If you have a habit, oh, I cannot stay in this relationship because this guy said this to me, the next one, what is the guarantee that the guy is not going to say the same thing or say something else that make you quit? And then you quit. You get into a business and you say, oh, because this client did not do this with me, I quit. Or this client did not work out as I wanted, I quit. Or I did not pass this exam as I wanted, I quit. Everything you start quitting. And when you quitting becomes your lifestyle, it is hard for you to stick to something. It is hard for you to be tenacious and stay and persevere on anything else. So my question to you this year, once again, would you let your feelings control you, or will you control your feelings? If you do not control your feelings, unfortunately, you won't have a beautiful year. You might make the money, but unfortunately, you won't be happy. You might buy the house, but you're not going to have a home. You don't have a home. You're not going to be happy in there. This is why, see, when people cannot control their feelings, it's hard for them to remain by themselves. It's hard for them to have peace within themselves. And when you cannot have peace by yourself, this is why people seek validations from every source, including social media, including friends, including alcohol, drug, and all these things. Because you're seeking validations, you're seeking joy, you're seeking happiness that is not there. You want to get it from outside when it should be coming from inside. And this is why several people fall into diverse temptations. Diverse temptations. Everything you can think of. Scam, drug, prostitution, anything and everything. Because feelings. Because we can't control things. Please understand this, ladies and gentlemen. If you must have a very fulfilled year, a joyful year, you must decide today to take control of your feelings. You must decide to cross-check whatever feeling that you've got. You must decide to put every feeling in check. You must decide to scrutinize every feeling. You must decide to take a few minutes to ponder on certain things before you take actions. You must decide to count the cost before you take actions. By the way, our next video will talk about that. Counting the cost. Counting the cost. So, but in this case, we'll talk about your feelings. If your feelings controls you, you don't have a life. If your feeling controls you, you're going to say whatever you want to say. And this is why people say, oh, I said it out of anger. Please, I'm sorry. But unfortunately, a lot has gone wrong. We see people stab people because they get angry. Feelings. We see people do different things because they got angry. Feelings. People have road rage and all manner of things. Feelings. Unfortunately, after you go through that situation, couple of minutes is off your eyes. People go to the club out of hype, they drink and drink and drink, and boom, they get into accident or they get into one situation or the other. Before you know it, that alcohol has left you or the drug has left your system and now you're addicted. Oh, out of feelings, my friend said I should do this, and then you do it. Before you know it, you're hooked, you become a drug addict, you become an alcoholic. Feelings. If you cannot control this, if you cannot control you, then you're a slave. You're a slave to many things and anything. Anything and everything can take control of you. Including somebody just winking at you. It just changes your day. But are you going to be in charge this year? Are you going to let somebody else be in charge of you? You see, the irony or the unfortunate thing is some of us don't like our bosses. We don't want to have bosses. We don't want to have bosses at our job, and we don't want people telling us what to do. In fact, we even make certain comments, I don't know, maybe you can tell me what I go do. You cannot tell me what to do in my life. But unfortunately, single feelings, simple feelings, control you. Unfortunately, you hear something and all of a sudden that changes your whole day. You could hate someone for life, say over my dead body simply because of what you heard. You start avoiding people. Feelings. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is your decision regarding your feelings? Are you going to take control or is it going to control you? Those two will give you two different results. And you and I know what those results look like. So decide today what you want for yourself. But I will encourage you. Is it easy to control your feelings? No, it's not. That is why we work with you. We have the tools to help you go through that. We have the tools to help you master that. So reach out to us. Send us DMs. Follow us on our social media. Subscribe to our channels. and all platform on social media, and we work with you hand in hand to help you have a fulfilled year. Okay? And I hope you take actions today. And by the way, if you've not made your decisions or your plans for the year, I think, oh, how can I make that happen with this, that, this, and that? Please reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you out, and it doesn't cost you any money. Okay? So let's make those happen. Ladies and gentlemen, take control of your own actions, you take control of your own mind, take control of your own feelings. All right, with that, God bless you. See you in the next episode.